text 84850, tweet at LBC and call 0345 6060 973. Paul Afshar is a campaigner for the group End Our Cladding Scandal. Paul, we're getting lots of reactions to this announcement. What's yours?
Well, Eddie, I'm an effective leaseholder, and I describe my reaction as cautiously optimistic. On the face of it, it's good news. My flat block is 4 stories high, so previously wouldn't have had any funding whatsoever, any help towards the costs of removing cladding. And today, obviously, we've learnt that we now will. So that's a partial weight lifted off my shoulders. The challenge, of course, is that we're not just talking about a cladding crisis here. We're talking about a building safety crisis. Many of your listeners will understand that it's not just external cladding, it's flammable insulation, it's the lack of cavity breaks. And what we didn't hear from Mr. Go today was clarity on those things. So who is going to pay for the problems inside the building as well as the problems outside the building?
What has all of this done to you? We've heard from several listeners very worried about their finances. One just in the past few minutes talking about our flat being worthless and the effect it's having on our mental health.
Well, it's been well over a year of sleepless nights and anxiety for 2 reasons. One, I saved up a lot of money to buy my first home, this flat, and it's potentially worthless and dangerous. And 2, the fear, the real sort of anxiety that a huge bill, £40,000, £50,000 is going to drop on my doorstep at any point. But it's not just that. A lot of us have had to put our life on hold. I recently got engaged. Great news, but we're not really able to do anything about it because, there's just a lack of clarity over whether I'm going to get a huge bill in 2 months' time or, whether I'm going to be stuck, with this unsellable flat. So, that's just one example. There are many, many others more unfortunate, I'm afraid, who've lost their homes or declared bankruptcy or even worse yet. So, look, today is a step in the right direction, but I think we need a lot more.
Whatever progress this might be, do you wonder why it's taken so long to get here? This is not what Robert Jenrick announced just a few months ago.
You're exactly right. There's been a lot of finger pointing, if I'm honest, Eddie. The house builders themselves pointing the finger at the government pointing the finger at the people who made the cladding. Look, the reality is that all we know as innocent leaseholders is that we're not to blame and we shouldn't have to pay. I think what the government has done, and one of your previous guests said it quite well, that's quite clever today, is said to developers and all other providers, look, if you don't comply, if you don't cough up, we are going to turn off the tap of public finance for you. So we're not going to give you contracts. We're not going to allow you to build, public sector homes. I think that's very smart. What I'd like to see from the government is that extended to cover the whole costs of cladding. Parliament themselves have said the total cost across the country is 15 billion. Today we were talking about a number around 4 billion, and there's obviously more funding on top of that, but we're nowhere near to covering the complete cost. I think a brave government, a brave decision by Michael Gove would be to extend that principle across public sector spending with these house builders to say it's time to cough up.
All right, nice to see you. Congratulations on the engagement. That's Paul Afshar from End Our Cladding Scandal.